Hi guys, it's Granny Tana speaking. Welcome to my relaxed gameplay on Calm Land. This is part 10. And here we see our field, or rather meadow, that I want to transform to a field. Yeah, and it should be cultivated. Let's check where we have a cultivator. This looks so blue there behind. Oh, and my gardens have been released on ModHub today. So, as I recorded, that it has been freshly released on ModHub. Yeah, and I'm very, very happy. A lot of you gamers are very happy about it, and that makes me even more happy. And here, yes, we grow practically everything. That's good. And here we have the sunflowers. I like them the most. And I think they bring quite some money. But the potatoes are very useful somehow. Especially when you have a production building. So maybe I will start rather soon to have a production here. Maybe we wait until the potatoes have been grown and we have some of them. And all the other stuff, and then we can start producing and selling our stuff. And until then we have a lot of work. Oh, and you wrote something about, I asked you about what to do with those triangular fields, and you said, oh, it's good to have several triangular, rather small fields with different crop types, and I think that is very good. I like the idea to have a field somehow here, because we own this and we own this, and we don't own the roads and this forest part and not the lake, but everything that is green. So we have fields here, there and there. And before, when I thought about my land, I only thought about this area where I want to make a huge grass field. But then I realized, oh, here is a triangle, here and here. Much more work, much more possibilities. And so I will grow different crop types on each field. Yeah. And enjoy this rather peculiar form. But maybe I won't make the so the very strong corner like here to the left, but rather start maybe here, or even a little bit more here, and then it should be, yeah, as straight as possible, but that is rectangular to the road, but not to the map. And maybe that is not so good, especially not for the helpers. So let's think about it. When I start from here, this is the rectangular line. Like that would be. So the 90 degrees to the border of the land, and that is helper friendly, this direction. So maybe I start here and go in this direction to the road, and then along the road, and yeah. And this little triangle, maybe I could use it for maybe something like a selling station or something like that. Let's see. So first I need to allow create fields. And if you ask yourself why I can create fields with a cultivator, I have activated the mod allow field creation with cultivator, something like that. It's in ModHub, but only for PC and Mac. And if you have playing on a console, there is a mod with special cultivators, especially for this reason, to create fields. So yes, I'm always a little bit hesitant when it comes to creating fields, because yeah, you can destroy all your meadow, and when you do it in a wrong way, and so on and so forth, and therefore I'm talking and talking and talking. So you don't have access to this land, okay? But here, okay. So, and here, and I think I can go rather close to the road, or not? Yeah, why not? Yeah, even when I go there with combine, the combine has no problem with being a little bit broader and maybe being a little bit over the field. No, I think this is not the right way to say it, but I think you know what I mean. But a little bit, oh, this is too close to the road. So, and here we have triangle again. But I think it doesn't matter at that place. So, maybe I could go further to the right. Ooh, maybe like this. And then I should fill in the gap, because we will have a gap here. Yes. So I make a little bit here, and then I go and fill the gap. That this is done. So maybe rather in this direction again. And with a plow it's even more difficult. At least in my opinion. This is okay-ish, I would say, to do it like that with the cultivator. But the plow, oi, 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 oi. But somehow a plow gives you a very strong feeling when using it. So it's a deep work in the soil, and so I could understand if people say, oh, I love to work with the plow and to create fields with the plow. But I like more this squares shape of the combine. I could imagine to make fields with subsoiler. So, and here we have a 90-degree angle, finally. A little bit to the back. Okay. Well, look, this field is not too shabby. Then I want to grow barley on it. And I have to make another field for the grass, but maybe I'll do this a little later. Because if I would do all the fields in one go, we would have 10 episodes only with cultivating fields and fields and fields and over again. So now I can go like this. It's a little bit faster. Maybe then I should rent a huge plow and a even huger tractor. Oh no, plow, cultivator. And then I could make the outline with this small one and the inside with the huge cultivator. Maybe that would be a good idea. When doing cultivating missions, you very often get really interesting cultivators. Really huge one. And I like this. And then you can keep it for some smaller missions as well and do them really fast. But here are no missions because there are no grain fields. This is a no man's land-like map. I'm the only one who works here until now. I hope for a village over there. So, maybe I just have a look. So this tractor has exactly how many horsepowers? 310. And this is much smaller, yes. 310 is not too shabby, but not really big. Cultivators. So this is the one we have. Is it true? No, no, it's a 5-meter one. Okay, that's not too bad. So I shouldn't complain about the size. This is already this one. And all the others are much bigger and they are more difficult to handle. So this is 5 meters too, and this 6 meters, so not much difference. This 7.5 meters, a little bit difference. And the extreme one, wow, this is really something, but I think even renting would be very expensive. And this is a Russell Marsh. I had quite some times for contracts. Yes, 12 meters would be a difference. Need 375 horsepower. So I don't even need to look. Yeah. 375. I think we should start with the large tractors, but oh, what is that? A rainbow. Oh, tractors that come with this map. Okay, those are the two that I have. Awesome. And this is much too small, so the big ones. I thought so. This would be big enough. And this too. So those are nearly the same. What's the price to rent them? 14,000 in the small version. So engine 17,000. And it would be just the double the speed compared to this. So no magic. And quite expensive. I still have some money, so I could afford it, but I want to be conservative with my money, because later I want to buy more land and I will need more machines. Maybe it would even be an idea to buy a very strong tractor. But not for those small fields that I will have here. Only for the creation of the fields. Here, let's see again what would be the price for the hour, and this would go. It's cheaper. Why is this before? Because the lower horsepower is below this one, and this has a narrower range of horsepowers. Yeah, and I guess you English-speaking people would prefer a John Deere. Design. EU. Okay, that's interesting. What is that here? Ah, this is the light in the back and here. Okay, if this is the US design, why not? And the engine setup would be like that. Then it's expensive. And it would cost... But it's cheaper than the Fendt. And it would be enough for the big cultivator. If I would keep it for more than one day, I would need to pay nearly $3,000 per day. And for the working hour, I would need to pay $6,000. Yes, the other idea would be totally crazy just to buy it for the time when I need a very strong tractor. And, no, for the beginning. And then just to rent the large cultivator. The advantage with this would be that I maybe could put a stronger loading wagon compared with the mower to make all my mowing. That would work with this, but the other one is strong as well that I have here, the McCormick 310 is not too shabby. So it would be only a slight advantage. And this is much more expensive. Oh, and this is fast, but you can't put more horsepower, and I need more horsepower. Oh, that's sad, because you told me this is very good because it can drive 70 kilometers per hour. That is really fast for a tractor. So let's check the cultivator again. It would be this, would it? 12 meters and this only 8 meters, so this makes a big difference. This is 14, but 450 horsepower. No, this is a 375. Yeah, and I think the John Deere doesn't have 375. No, it has just, and this has even more. But this is more for European farmers, and here I play the American style or English speaking style. I try at least. So let's check. When I take the US design and the biggest engine, then I would have $289. And here, if I would put American design and then 388 horsepower like the other one, it would be already 316. So this is maybe a little bit too expensive. Oh, let's check the highest horsepower. This is insane. But I guess maybe you would like it. And I would enjoy it too with such a... It has a lot of advantages, especially as it is a hilly region. And let's check for the huge loading banks. Here. So I think we have this one. Let's check what we have. Oh no, we have one. That is not too shabby, but it needs only 220 horsepower. So there is no real need for a very huge tractor. And I could throw my money out of the window and thinking, oh yes, I buy this huge tractor and then I need another more than 100,000 bucks for it. For the moment I go on like that. I think at first I should need to earn some money before spending so much money on huge equipment. And this is not really the map for huge equipment. This is more like work yourself, pioneer-like. Earn the money, buy and buy until you can afford all this. It would be silly to spend such a lot of money right now. But sometimes I am silly, so... But not today. And if I grow oat and sorghum on the other two triangular fields, I have time until spring to get them cultivated. So there is no real hurry. And the grass field I only want to cultivate and sow grass to be able to let it be harvested by a helper. But there is no really strong need to hurry as well. Now is September. And do I play with seasons? I think yes. I will have a look. And to start growing, yes, I play with seasons. No, come on. Yes, very good. So the grass could be sown until November, but I think better would be October. No, come on. No, we don't need light. It's still daytime. So maybe it would be a good idea to sow the to make the huge grass field tomorrow, and then to sow the grass, and then we can harvest it in spring, in March. And until then we can cut the grass on the other triangular fields to make some money. And here this is going okay, I would say. And if I wouldn't have thought so long about a bigger tractor, I would be nearly finished until now. But sometimes I like to go shopping too. Think about what could I buy, what nice machinery, what kind of houses or production buildings or whatsoever. And even if I don't buy in the end, it's nice to have a look on all those horsepowers and imagine how you drive with this very strong tractor. And it's a little bit like Lisa-tan said today in the live stream for the podcast. So there was a live stream on Twitch and YouTube about the or to record the next podcast, and Lars had a little bit of story time, and he told us that in the beginning when he started at Giants, he was chosen as a community manager because he had experience as a community manager at a different company, game development company, but he didn't knew anything about tractors and agriculture, and he was not interested at all in tractors, and he even thought tractors were boring, and because they are so slow and he never lived in the countryside, so he didn't had any contact to tractors. Yeah, and then he started with this job and he learned a lot about agriculture and got to know the tractors, and now he finds them very interesting and he loves it to work at a company where you have such a lot to do with agriculture. And I like this story a lot, and it resembles a bit like my story with this. For me it was not like I wasn't interested in tractors at all. Because I lived in the countryside over and over again, so not always, but most of my lifetime I lived in the countryside, and therefore you have contact to tractors. And if you go out, I ride my bicycle and I walk through the fields of our region, and then I see how everything grows, and I see the tractors that they are working there. And so I was not totally disinterested, but I had no special interest in tractors. It was more like interest in the crops that grow on the fields, because I'm interested in plants anyhow. I know a lot of healing plants, and that is strong interest for me. And yeah, then I started with FS17, and I knew about a tractor only that it has two wheels and you can sit inside and you can work with it. And by I learned more of the tractors and I got to know the different brands and to realize that horsepowers are very important and all this stuff, and I'm getting more and more interested in the agricultural equipment, even if I'm not so much a vehicle fan. So I'm not really interested in cars somehow. And even if I was able to repair my old car back in the time when that was still possible, so I had an old VW and very very old VW bus. So this we call it VW bus usually. Maybe you call it different. And it is very famous, so it's a small van. And I loved it a lot, and it was very old, and you had to repair it very often. And I needed to repair it myself because I didn't have much money, and I'm interested in technical stuff, and I like to repair, and I repair a lot of machines in the house and so. And therefore I bought a book and started to learn how to do the simple things in repairing cars. But that didn't spark an interest in cars as such. But for the tractors, I develop an interest in tractors as such. So if I see a tractor in my area where I go by bicycle or even by car, and I see it, I always turn my neck and see, oh, what is this? And is it an old one or a new one? And yeah. And to whom does it belong? We have, I think at least 5 farmers in the village, which is quite a lot. When you imagine in former times in a village nearly everybody was a farmer, but now in a village with about 1,000 inhabitants, 5 farmer is really a lot. So this is a really agricultural village, and we grow corn here, and not for foraging, but rather for the corn itself. And this is not common in Europe. Most of Germany, corn is cultivated for is it called for foraging? To make chaff and to make silage. And maybe in most of the areas this is because it's not warm enough to let the corn get totally ripe. But here where I live, it is in France already where I live, but very very close to Germany. And maybe you know that I'm German, and it's only 4 kilometers away of the border, and my own company is in Germany, so most of my life circles around Germany, but I live in France. And here the climate is very warm and nearly like Mediterranean climate, and it is warm even in autumn, and the corn can become totally ripe and get a good quality. And as the French people are allowed to use nearly all of the water that is in the Rhine, because of the First World War, after First World War regulations, something like that, there is enough water. They make channels where the water is flowing from the Rhine, and so they can I knew the word, but now I forgot. This happens to me very often, that I forget the word, and in the middle of the sentence I realize, I don't know how to call it. So they make artificial rain to let the corn grow. And this is very good for the plants, because in the German part of this area, of the other side of the Rhine, they are not allowed to use all the water of the Rhine, and they can't make artificial rain, and therefore in Germany the corn plants are much smaller than here on the French side. They are huge and juicy, so they are juicy until October and really green and lush, and then finally they get yellow, and then it's time to harvest. But because of such a lot of water, they have very good yield here in Alsace. Alsace is the French region where I live. And yeah, that's my story about corn here in our region. And I forgot how I came to this, but let's see. This is done. And this episode is very, very long because I talked such a lot. But for the moment, this is done, and next time we can sow the barley. I think our first cleaning. And somehow, for me, it was a lot of fun to do this cultivating while chatting with you. Okay, you couldn't answer. I talked all the time, but you can answer in your comments, and I'm very happy about it if you write comments. And for me, it feels like I'm talking to you or speaking with you. Yeah, when I'm chatting such a lot while working. And the time flies by very fast while doing this. Okay. Oh, I think we need to buy a sewing machine, because there in the we only have, oh no, we already bought one. Yes, that is good. My favorite one. And no, not show on map. Yes, show on map. Where is it? Oh, wonderful. Still at the shop. Okay, so next time we have to get the wonderful sewing machine at the shop, and then we can sow the barley, and then life goes on. And yeah, I showed you the gardens that are on ModHub now, and this alpine house has been released at ModHub as well, and I'm very happy about it. Okay, that's it for this part. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for watching and all the best. Till next time. Tschüss.